For years, rock stars have been untouchable, immortalized by fans, adored for their music, and celebrated for living life on their own terms. But sometimes, all it takes is one moment of chaos, one bad decision, and their entire career can come crashing down. Billie Joe Armstrong's emotional breakdown, Axl Rose's fiery tantrum, and Marilyn Manson's descent into scandal. These are just a few examples of rock stars whose legendary status was suddenly called into question. So what happens when the very same rock stars who once ruled the stage are suddenly canceled? Are they still the icons we thought they were? Or have they become cautionary tales of fame gone wrong? Billie Joe Armstrong, the Green Day meltdown. Green Day had been punk rock royalty for years. With millions of records sold and packed stadium tours, they were untouchable. At the helm was Billie Joe Armstrong, the fiery and rebellious frontman who led the charge with hits like Basket Case and American Idiot. But in 2012, everything came crashing down most dramatically. During a performance at the iHeartRadio Festival in Las Vegas, Green Day was cut short by the organizers to make room for Usher. It's a scenario that probably frustrates any artist, but Armstrong didn't take it well. Instead of finishing with the usual cool, he erupted in anger. With only 1 minute left on the countdown, he smashed his guitar and shouted, "Give me an expletive break," before storming off stage, leaving the crowd in stunned silence. At first, fans thought it was just another rebellious punk moment, a middle finger to the corporate world. But the situation was much deeper than that. Behind the scenes, Armstrong was struggling with substance abuse, combining prescription pills with alcohol, which had spiraled out of control. The meltdown forced Green Day to cancel multiple tour dates and put the band on hold. Armstrong later admitted that he was in a dark place at the time. While his meltdown made him more relatable, it also revealed the cracks in his rock star image, and his fans began to question what was really going on. Axl Rose, the Guns N' Roses Riverport Riot. Axl Rose was the larger-than-life frontman of Guns N' Roses, a band that became synonymous with hard rock in the late 80s and early 90s. With a voice that could shake the rafters and a reputation for being wild, Axl was the rock star of the moment. But by 1991, his chaotic behavior started to overshadow his talent. Guns N' Roses had already sold millions of records and became global superstars, but Axl's late arrivals, feuds with fans, and unpredictable antics were causing friction both on and off the stage. His behavior reached its peak during a performance at the Riverport Amphitheater in St. Louis. During their set of Rocket Queen, Axl noticed a fan recording the show. When security failed to act, Axl took matters into his own hands and jumped into the crowd to confront the fan. Returning to the stage, he angrily shouted, "Thanks to the lame-ass security, I'm going home," before storming off. What followed was a full-scale riot, leaving dozens injured and causing serious property damage. This incident, later dubbed the Riverport Riot, resulted in a $50,000 fine and 2 years of probation for Axl. Courtney Love, from punk icon to PR nightmare. Courtney Love was the quintessential punk rock icon. As the frontwoman of Hole, she carved out a name for herself with her raw, unapologetic energy. Her fierce persona matched her punk attitude, and she became an emblem of rebellion and chaos in the music world. Fans loved her for her fearless attitude and her ability to embody punk's gritty, anti-establishment spirit. But as much as Love thrived on controversy, one night in 2004 shifted her from punk star to full-blown PR nightmare. The infamous moment came during her appearance on The Late Show with David Letterman. Instead of giving the usual talk show banter, Courtney, visibly agitated, took things to the extreme. Mid-interview, she climbed onto Letterman's desk and exposed herself to the cameras. This shocking act of defiance turned a standard TV appearance into a viral spectacle. But the chaos didn't end there. Later that night, Love was arrested for throwing a microphone stand into the crowd during a performance at a club, injuring a fan in the process. Pete Doherty, the Libertines' lost genius. Pete Doherty was once the heart and soul of the Libertines, a band that captured the raw energy of early 2000s indie rock. His poetic lyrics and chaotic yet magnetic stage presence made him an icon for the young and rebellious. There was a time when Pete's name was synonymous with creativity and talent, and he was celebrated for his distinctive musical voice. But, as we all know, rock stars and chaos often come hand in hand, and for Pete, it was his chaotic lifestyle that eventually took center stage, overshadowing his musical gifts. In 2005, Pete's life hit a major turning point when he was arrested during a performance for drug possession. The moment he was dragged off the stage by the police marked the point where his chaotic behavior completely eclipsed his talent. The arrest, a symbol of his struggle with addiction, instantly became more headline-worthy than his music. The incident was a tragic shift from the promising indie rock star to a walking symbol of wasted potential. Tommy Lee, the violent fallout of the rock and roll bad boy. Tommy Lee, the wild drummer of Mötley Crüe, was the embodiment of the rock and roll bad boy. He was known for his rebellious attitude, insane stage antics, and of course, his larger-than-life persona. Whether he was smashing drums, partying until dawn, or making headlines for his tumultuous relationships, Tommy Lee was the ultimate symbol of rock star chaos. But in 1998, his personal life took a dark turn that no amount of wild energy or public bravado could fix. It was a shocking moment that changed everything for Lee. In February 1998, Tommy Lee was arrested for assaulting his then-wife, actress Pamela Anderson, during a heated argument. The incident took place in their Malibu home, and the attack occurred while Anderson was holding their infant son. Lee's violent actions led to his arrest and a public disgrace that would haunt him for years. What was once a lovable bad boy persona now became a symbol of domestic abuse. Vince Neil, a tragic drunk driving incident. Vince Neil, the charismatic frontman of Mötley Crüe, was living the rock star dream. He had the looks, the fame, and the lifestyle that every young rock fan envied. But along with the fame came the excess, drugs, alcohol, and reckless decisions. One of those decisions in particular would haunt him for the rest of his life. In December 1984, Vince Neil made a tragic mistake that would forever change the course of his career. Neil, heavily intoxicated, got behind the wheel of his car with his friend Razzle from Hanoi Rocks. The two were speeding through Redondo Beach, California, when Neil lost control of the car, crashing into another vehicle. Razzle was killed in the crash, and the other passengers in the other car suffered severe, life-altering injuries. For Vince, this moment was more than just a horrific tragedy. It was the defining moment of his career, a moment that would be impossible to shake. Marilyn Manson, the dark descent of an antichrist superstar. Marilyn Manson was rock's master of shock, known for his sinister persona, controversial antics, and a style that blurred the lines between art and chaos. Manson quickly became a staple in the music world. His image was built on provoking the audience, flaunting taboos, and challenging societal norms. With albums like Antichrist Superstar, he became the king of shock rock, pushing boundaries and making headlines for his outlandish behavior. For years, Manson thrived on being the villain of rock music, with fans adoring his ability to be a walking, breathing spectacle. But in 2021, everything changed. Actress Evan Rachel Wood accused Manson of years of abuse, shocking the world. Wood, who had previously been in a relationship with Manson, publicly detailed the psychological and physical trauma she claimed to have endured. The allegations quickly spiraled into a media frenzy, and it wasn't long before other women came forward with their own accusations of abuse. Suddenly, the man who once thrived on controversy found himself the center of a much darker narrative. The fallout was swift and brutal. Manson was dropped by his record label, his shows were canceled, and his name became synonymous with abuse rather than rebellion. His shocking persona, once celebrated as a symbol of rock and roll defiance, was now just another example of a celebrity facing the real-world consequences of their actions. The industry and his fans turned their backs on him, and his legacy crumbled. The question remains, can Marilyn Manson ever escape the shadow of these allegations, or has his career been permanently destroyed? So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.